All right, hello, everybody. Yo, how's it going, everybody? Hello, Mark. Is that
Yo,
you?
e-
Oh my God, Mark. It's been 2 weeks, podcast
two
wise,
whole weeks.
podcast wise, 2 whole weeks.
I,
So we'll go.
I I forgot we didn't do one last week.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a quick recap on that one, but first, let's do introductions. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Justin,
Fuck.
and you're watching or listening to episode 470 of DangIT Prodcast, actual 470. Welcome back, everybody. I think like 2 weeks ago I made like a miscount on like what it was actually like whatever the episode count was like back then. Thought maybe it was like 470 at that time, but it's like no, not quite. But now we are. So, and it's one of those things where it's like I hate breaking tradition, but it's like now let's just skip it for like last week. Because people were away. Technically still away. Phil, he would have loved to jump into last week's and this week's podcast, but the boys in New York, returning back now. But yeah, no, we'll definitely get a story for him. Like probably next week, week after, whenever he has time, he's going to jump into it. And I've been happy for him. He's been just like every single day he's been just doing something. They're out just walking all over the place, and it's giving me a lot of like massive like convention vibes over here. So I'm like, oh god, all that walking, but it's also like a vacation for them too. So happy for them. My folks are actually like on like a vacation of their own. They've been gone for like this past week, and they'll be coming in like probably in the middle of like next month. Or sorry, not middle of next month. That's crazy. In the middle of like next week. And admittedly, I have to say, it's one of the first times in possibly a long time, if not the first time, that I've ever like been just taking care of the house for like a longer period of time than say like a couple days. So it's been I wouldn't say eye opening, but it's definitely kept me a little bit more aware of like all the things I gotta do just to maintain the house without them because you know, I'm not sure like where everyone else is at, like around like my age. But for me, this feels like I shouldn't be like these shouldn't be like first time experiences. I should have already just be like in the I should really just already have been like going through this kind of thing. But hopefully, um, that level of independence will like come around probably next year if I actually get myself a house. But that's the quick aside on that thing. But Mark, how have you been?
Been all right.
Feel like you haven't been as active in our usual like Facebook chats, so I figured that you've been
Uh,
kind of busy.
yeah, it's been a combination of that, and I've just been that's a combination of that, and I just haven't been on Messenger recently.
Gotcha. Have you been playing anything for the past couple weeks?
Uh, a little bit. I played a little bit. I played the new Kakarot DLC. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh,
right.
yeah, 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. Very big throwback. Very nice.
Mm. Have you uh
That
have you played any of the Dragon Ball Fighters update?
yeah,
Okay.
that's
Remember,
pretty wild.
yeah, people have just been posting over on like Twitter about
Yeah, because you can just straight up, you can just out of your level ones, you can just straight up just level three immediately.
it's crazy like 100 to death or something like that. Just like
It's wild.
I was like, whoa, just with like OG Goku, OG like Vegeta, like just the
It's
floor,
wild.
especially Gogeta. That was crazy,
Oh, with Gogeta, you can do a lot of wild stuff.
man, dude. They're just, you know what? It's kind of broken, but I'm glad that they're deciding to do something like with the game. It's been like a couple years now, and honestly, like people are wondering if there's gonna be like a follow up to it, a sequel. But you know what? This update can just kind of like add a little bit of more like of a resurgence to the game. So I'm happy for everybody for that one.
And whether it be
Um,
Fighters 2 or a new season of DLC.
mhm. And then there's a couple other things that happened like this past week as well. Gamescom was this past week. Although I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really followed everything. It was pretty much like just I guess the day before that, because a lot of it was like premiered like in the middle of like the day, and I was working, so I only caught like a glimpse of some news here and there. But I'm trying to like pull up my notes as far as like what I did like put down there. Wow, I didn't really say I didn't really put down a lot. It was just like honestly like I stopped taking notes, and honestly that's on me. I should really like take active notes here and there when I see something interesting to talk about. but I really just stopped at like the GTA 6 bit, which you guys don't know. Like, and there's actually something else I
Give me
want.
GTA 6.
There, I do have something like a little bit prior to that, like the day before, like uh, ONL, yeah. Uh, but yeah, there was a guy. I'm not gonna really bring it up because like it was done once. It was kind of low key, kind of funny, and now it's just kind of rude. But yeah, there was a guy who just like walked up in the beginning of like the show, and he was just, and apparently people like checked and like fact checked this guy as far as like what other things he's like ever like just walked into, but he's done a couple of things as far as like GTA 6 like promotion, if you will. But yeah, I gotta give it to Jeff Keighley because like honestly like obviously Matan, who was the guy who did the Game Awards bit at the very end, um he handled that pretty well, and this one was a little bit more in his face. And it was one of those things where like you don't know this person, anything could have happened at that moment. He could have gotten assassinated, but it didn't happen. That was good. And then like security came in, like took him up like pretty
Jeff
quickly.
just said, oh, okay.
Now he he said it twice. He was just like, it's a shame that we were having such a like a great celebration of games and like something like that had to happen. But we're gonna take this energy, we're gonna move forward, and it's like okay, that's class act. I can appreciate that. But yeah, no, people are just talking online about like there's got to be like better security for this kind of thing. Get like actual like people like from the press like up front and not just anyone. But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a process like for that later on. But yeah, no, like I don't know what the guy's deal is, but hopefully won't like see too many of those ever again, especially for anything hosted by Jeff Keighley because poor guy's got it like twice. So here's a hoping. I think. Well, actually, no. I had something about Starfield, but we know that there's like review copies out there. People have been testing that out. There's not really much to add. Like since then, I guess it's just about the release next week, which I'm actually looking forward to. I've made some space on the Xbox just to like have that prepped. I think I did the exact same thing on my ROG Ally for like a video just to test out like the performance there. Um, Oh, you know what? To kind of like cut in between all of that, I did want to bring up something with Nintendo that happened on like the 21st, like earlier this week. Nintendo posted, and granted, it was kind of like it was a bit of a like it was kind of a quick like message scare where it's almost like, oh, what's happening to Charles Martinet? Uh, but the short of it is that he is now like resigning from doing the voice acting for Mario and Luigi and probably the other like voices like Wario and Waluigi. Um, but he's going to kind of retain like a new role, or he's stepping into a new role as like the Mario ambassador. So he's pretty much going to be able to do a lot more like public events and just kind of be part of the community that way. But as far as any like recorded performances for future Mario games and any spin-offs that require like a voice actor to replace him, we are not sure about what's going on with that. People are already like
They'll
speculating.
probably get a new one.
Yeah, honestly, I was hearing some new voice lines from like Mario Wonder, and I noticed something kind of weird about it. But it could be a hindsight bias thing where it's like you know hearing this is like, oh, of course there was gonna be a new voice for Mario Wonder. But at the time when I listened to that trailer, I didn't really quite know. But yeah, no, in that case, it might be just a brand new voice for it. And if that's the voice in Mario Wonder, I'm all for it. Honestly,
But
like Mario Wonder or Mario the character himself doesn't really say like full fledged lines. He just has to do like the wee, and then he's got to do the oh, wahoo. Well, at least I hope he will do that one day. He has never like done that line since Sunshine. But otherwise, any other like woo, he can do that.
oh, oh, oh,
Yeah.
ah,
Mark? Are you sure you're not doing anything with Mario? Mark, you're looking a little bit suspicious.
look a little sus, man.
A
A
little
little
sus,
sus.
man. It turns out. Oh my god, I don't know exactly what like Charles Martinet's like pay rate when like he does like actual lines for like the video games, but like if that was you, I'm like, whoa, are you making bank
Suckle.
now?
Let's suckle.
Yeah, do you know Ben Starr? Ben Starr is the voice of Clive in Final Fantasy 16, and he just went on social media. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna audition for Mario."
I'm an artist for Mario.
Drops f bombs immediately.
Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
Oh my god! But he had a fun session with that. That was fun. But man, dude, it's definitely we keep saying it. And I do have another like bit of news, like even prior to that one that happened last week. But it's definitely an end of an era type of thing, where like people, like kids, are gonna start growing up with a different type of Mario, and they'll just know Charles Martinet as like a possible extra from like the Mario Brothers movie, or just simply a guy walking around like as the original like older voice cast, like similar to Veronica
They'll
Taylor
just
as Ash.
they'll just know he's older Mario. That's what they'll know.
Yeah, it's kind of, it would probably be a similar situation with like the whole thing with Ash Ketchum. You, like Veronica Taylor was the original voice, and now it's now Sarah. Um, it might be one of those cases where like we see that shift. And I remember when Sarah was initially doing like the voice for Ash. It was like Battle Frontier, the new season at that time. So it was kind of like smack dab in the middle of like of Ash's journey, like back in Kanto doing the Battle Frontier stuff, and you just get welcomed to a new voice, and it didn't seem like good, in my personal opinion. And she's kind of fitting into the role like ever since then. So good on her. And now that you know Ash's journey is like over for the time being, man, dude, it's crazy. um, but yeah, going back to Charles Martinet, like, yeah, no, I'm glad that he's still like willing to openly just be part of the community, still going to conventions and whatnot, showing, having appearances, meeting people. But this is definitely gonna be like a new change. Speaking of changes, we also have the fact that Xbox 360 Marketplace is closing off. It was announced last
Uh,
week, and we have a whole year. So any games that are not backwards compatible with Series X or S, go grab them. Man, dude, I was actually low key looking into that. I was like, we got, in our family, we got the 360, like the OG 360, and that's still the main, like that was still the main like processing unit, if you will, for all the
it
Xbox
was always
360
the
games.
it was always the main.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, there's definitely be different models. I even looked it up because I was kind of curious, as like, you know, if I wanted to like preserve like a library of my own of like 360 games, I'm not sure if I would go back to like that metal tank.
That
because I
metal tank.
because I because I didn't believe like it had its own like internal storage. It always had like an external storage that just gets plopped at the very top of it. But then like later on, that was the transition towards like having more internal memory. And it seems like if anyone was curious at all about trying to do some like collecting, at least digitally, for Xbox 360, you can also try physical, but like anything that's DLC or like download only, it looks like the Xbox 360S, like the more slim form factor, is probably your way to go. Otherwise, there's been other ones like the 360 Elite, which is pretty much the blacked out version of like the OG.
There's the
Um,
solid black one.
yeah, there was an arcade one, and then there was like an economy one, but I'm not sure if it was called economy, but it was just like it's kind of what the Xbox One, the original, kind of looked like. Speaking of which, I do have that one. At least when and the Xbox One marketplace closes down at one point, at least I have a whole collection of that one. But yeah, 360, I'd have to like consider like I would probably consider finding like one to kind of like be the main thing if I ever wanted to showcase or even just preserve other ones. But I'm still
Right.
kind of on the fence with that one. But yeah, just an FYI for everybody. If anyone wanted to jump into the 360 catalog that aren't backwards compatible, some of them are actually Armor Core. I think. Well, I'm pretty sure you can get physical ones, but they're probably like pricey. But there's a few Armor Core games on 360 that you can go get that you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
the
able
older
to.
ones.
Yeah, they're not on the Xbox store. like via like the series consoles. You would have to actually just buy them physically or just like buy them like on the 360 front. But yeah, no. Yeah, actually that's a pretty good decent transition over to Armor Core actually. The game just came out like I think today or yesterday.
Today.
No, it was actually technically yesterday.
I thought it was the 26th.
Wait, was it? Wait, no. What? Oh, you're
Some
confusing
people
me.
were playing it yesterday. I didn't know people got it early access yesterday. If it wasn't released yesterday, I have no idea.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there've been people playing it as of like I think Thursday. Like I saw like
Yeah,
people
like
on
early review copies maybe.
possibly yeah. Um, but I was curious about it because like it was one of those games where it's like it's from software and I've been like even though I'm like I say I would be a fan of like From Software games, although I've only really hardcore played through like Elden Ring and a little bit of like Dark Souls 1. Um, I do want to go back and like play through the other ones as well, and Armor Core would be one of those as well. And but
Which
I was
plays
still kind
much
of
different
passive.
from any of the Souls games.
It's very different, and we should definitely be clear about that for sure. But I was still very much so curious because at this point, like the whole design of just like the From Software games have been like changing like over the like I would even say the past decade with their like stuff. They've really just been taking in like a lot of feedback from the community, and even though we're talking about Armor Core versus like all the Souls games, uh, they're kind of like similar like developers in the case. Like most of them are probably gonna be the same people working on to Armor Core, so therefore a lot of the philosophy just gets translated into that. Uh, if anything, in a different way. But I got really hyped about it when I heard like a review or two about like people's experience like playing the early copies, and I was sold. It's like okay, it's Thursday. I'm gonna just go ahead and like drop a pre-order like at my local GameStop because the app is still one of those weird things where like it'll just still send it to you if you try to pre-order from there instead of a pickup. But so I went over there. I did the pre-order like with them, and then the following day, Friday, which was yesterday, I stopped by during my lunch break and I was like, okay, let's do this. And they didn't actually have it. I checked back after work. They still didn't have it.
Is it not in
Apparently,
stock?
it's apparently a FedEx thing. Like they obviously were expecting a shipment. They were not getting that shipment of physical copies for Armor Core 6. So currently your boy's in a Pacific time where it's like I'm just kind of waiting for a phone call to say that they got stock. Otherwise I'll waste another trip. So yeah, no. Digital is always an option, everybody. I'll let you. I'll be the first to tell you that digital is always an option. But because we're friends with Phil, and I've been influenced a lot by Phil, I am taking physical as a priority. So it kind of like dashed a lot of my plans like yesterday to stream the game. I'm not mad about that. It's just like it's a matter of like when are we gonna get those? Because yeah, no. Because like for me, I can totally be understandable about like not being able to receive things in time, just like in lieu of like my own job, like that kind of happens. But there's also other people who've been expecting their copies, and I'm very concerned about them because the folks at GameStop are cool, but obviously there may be some miscommunication going on, and
A little bit.
yeah, man, dude. I would not want to be like them right now. Just considering that they're going to get a lot of calls or a lot of people walking in and they're going to be disappointed. But I will tell you that GameStop has actually gotten like better stock with other things, being these promo cards for Pokemon. GameStop actually has promo cards for Obsidian Flames, and it's the Umbreon card that's part of the set. The only difference is that this Umbreon just has like the GameStop like thing showing up right here. Best Buy has something similar to, but it's Espeon, and it was something I actually picked up today, where like they have a different like art like printed on the corner here, and
Ooh.
yeah, no, they're both from the same set. It's just the only real difference is really just like that marking on the corner. But yeah, no, I do like these two Pacific EV evolutions. Um, it was crazy because that the other day at that GameStop when I was doing the pre-order, I did ask them about this one. They were like, you know, I don't want to put it on them, but this was also another instance where like they weren't getting the stock in time. And I was like, man, dude, when are we gonna get like these promo cards to show up? Because like I'm talking to my cousin about this. We don't really know when these guys are gonna show up. And I asked them one more time. They're like, okay, yeah, we actually do have like at least three left. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, we'll do it. And I was doing a little short video of like the three that like were randomly given to me because you have to like spend like $15 or so like on Pokemon cards before you can get the promo. So I opened the first one and it was this Charizard one. It's not like the Charizard one that is like extremely expensive, but I think it might be like one of like the third to the first one. There's a lot of Charizards in this specific set, but
They knew what audience they were going for.
yeah, I feel bad though
All the
because
all the
obviously
Zard fans.
obviously I'm a big fan of Venusaur over there, and I feel like Blastoise also gets the lacking there too. Although
Blastoise deserves better.
yeah, they would deserve better, but I think you'll see them in like 151, the next expansion, which is actually next month. Ooh, more money. But yeah, no, this one's really dope too. So I have this whole batch of like Pokemon card booster packs like with this Espeon as well. So I might do that for like another short video. I've been putting a lot of like the shorts over on TikTok because that's more Pokemon related stuff too. But
Mm.
yeah, no. I also have a couple of pickups as well.
But of course,
Of course. I finally went around to picking up Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. This has been sitting at like my GameStop shelves for like a while, and I was always thinking about going back to pick one up, but just it was never like the proper time. So I put I put my foot down. I was like, this may be possibly the last time I'll ever see it. Just do it.
just do it.
And the next one is one that I knew for certain would be the last time I'd ever see it. So it's called you may have seen this at a Nintendo Direct a while back, but it's called Front Missions First. It's colon remake. It's a remake from the original one that came out. It certainly came out a while back. Let me see. Developer, if I recall, they may have gotten like picked up by like Square Enix, so you'll probably see some bit of Square Enix like being like attributed to the game. But it is a it's kind of like a strategy RPG. So it was kind of like, oh, like Fire Emblem, but with mechs. Okay, I'm in. This limited edition one's kind of cool too. They have like the cool like holographic thing that
Say less.
yeah, say less. I'm in. And a while back I made an order for like for the Switch of the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Pro controller. If you guys don't know the story about that one, I got kind of screwed over because I was keeping track of like stocks like via like a third party website, and they were showing that Amazon actually had one. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. I guess technically speaking, that was Twitter. But there's also like other tracking websites. But Twitter notified me on like stocks on this one, and I think around like June or July, I just like put in the order for like this Pro controller, and on the day it was supposed to ship, it was gone. It was like Thanos snapped. Like I like what controller? I didn't do ordering a controller. It was like one of those
Well,
things where like the entire website clears any history on that one. The only history I have is the email that like I got that confirmation. And turns out I got a follow-up email like that day that it was like just gone, and it pretty much just said like the supplier didn't have them in stock, so we had to cancel the order and everything like that. I was like, damn. Well, there goes that. And I thought it was gone forever. But then Amazon like .co like slash or .jp, pretty much like Amazon Japan had like their own stock, and pretty much like the Japanese Pro controller is the exact same thing as like our US controllers. So we finally got it here. It's just like the text is different over there on the box. Also, I guess they may have updated like the title like in the back here. The OG ones were like just Nintendo branded, but this one just says Nintendo Switch with the logos on it. So finally, everything that they promoted for like Tears of the Kingdom, as far as like not just like the special edition Switch, but like the case, the controller, they're in the collection here, so I'm just happy about that because that game's so good. So I'm happy about it.
So good.
But yeah, apologies. Going back to Gamescom. I know Gamescom is. I think it's still going, but like,
Actually, I think it is.
yeah. The problem is that it's kind of weird for me because it's not quite like a presentation each day. It's just kind of like, if anything, it's similar to like, I wouldn't say Evo. Maybe like something like TwitchCon where like there's just a lot of stuff going on as kind of
Yeah,
like a
it's like
convention.
just a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's just a convention where like you can like you'll see a lot of stuff like on the show floor. People get to try it out. But they have a bunch of live streams of like just showing like more hands-on stuff, like just to showcase to everyone online as well. I just
Yeah,
haven't
most
been
just a lot of
following.
showcases.
Yeah, I haven't really been following a lot of those. Have you, Mark?
Not a ton.
Yeah, same here. So I was wondering if there was any like new stuff that kind of popped up. I was trying to do a little
Let me
bit of
see.
research. Gamescom news. Oh yeah, Black Myth Wukong. Apparently there's a bit of
Yeah, that looks
hands-on.
great.
I saw the trailer of that one. I kind of want to rewatch that and like post maybe like a reaction to that one because I watched it like one of the first like instances of a trailer of it, and that was received pretty well. So I should probably just follow up with that one. Um, I know that Pokemon actually had like a new thing. I don't think that was connected to Gamescom. That was just like
Oh, just a new
happenstance.
Pokemon.
Yeah, new Pokemon. There was a Poltergeist. It's matcha. It's just a Poltergeist, but in matcha form. In fact, I think having like looked at it and comparing it to like Poltergeist, it's just a different evolution. I would say similar to Duraludon, but yeah. Let me see.
There was the announcement of Killing Floor 3. There was the actual
Oh
finally the
yes.
gameplay for Crimson Desert.
Oh yeah, cause oh my god, dude, I saw that trailer. That should also be another thing I should just kind of rewatch and post. But yeah, no, it's pretty much just it's obviously the people who did like Black Desert, the MMORPG
Yeah,
that's still available for folks. But this one's a little bit more single player from what I understand. So
yeah.
it's kind of a standalone thing, and essentially it's taking like a lot of like elements from Tears of the Kingdom now and just really like adding more and more and more. And the more that you watch that trailer, the more it gets crazy. Honestly, like when you turn into a bird, I was like, oh my god. But yeah, no. Crimson Desert. I'll definitely keep my eyes out for that one. That does look pretty good. Um, Little Nightmares 3 got like an announcement, so I was like, oh, that's actually really nice because I think, um, you know, not anime inspired or like not based on an anime. I think Little Nightmares like from like Bandai Namco, um, does stand out a lot, and I think it has like a really good like following on that one. So I'm glad that they decided to go and follow through with another like iteration of it. I'm looking at a list here too. Apparently there was a little bit more like stuff with Assassin's Creed Mirage, probably like a trailer. I didn't see that
Yeah,
one though.
it says the Baghdad trailer.
Got you. And I heard some stuff about Modern Warfare 3, so I think they're just kind of following, just remaking every single one of them. Which you know what,
Well,
it is time for an
three was
update.
it says that 3 was like originally gonna be a story expansion for 2, but they decided to just make
To
it
make it a whole thing.
standalone.
Gotcha. Got some. Oh yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy did get the relink one. Got a follow up like trailer and some like hands on stuff. That game was announced a long way like way back, and it's one of those games that's been on my radar as well. It looks really good, and it looks like it's getting through the finishing touches and will be slated for February of next year. So that's not too far from here. So looking forward to that. There was a multiplayer trailer for Sonic Superstars. It's already shaping up to look like a really fun like multiplayer in maybe even just a nice cool like standalone like piece if you're just playing single player. So but the thing was is that Sonic Frontiers gets a whole new DLC, and this is what people got people really riled up because it was just like, oh my god, Super Sonic's getting a Super Saiyan 2 form. Have you seen that? It's crazy because it kind of is like that.
You know, it do kind of be like that though.
Yeah, like most likely a lot of like the influence stuff like within the story of Sonic Frontiers, like Sonic gets afflicted by like, I guess for lack of better words, like kind of a virus thing that the thing that pretty much like overtaken like his friends, and all that's left of them are like digital like after images of themselves. Sonic is the only one who's like really fighting back because of like how his nature, and this is possibly kind of harnessing that. This is just like out of my ass, right? But essentially,
Completely.
but he gets a new transformation. His eyes, instead of like reddish like he usually has it, is now blue. So it's like, oh, this is starting to look a little bit like Super Saiyan. Not to mention there might be like slight static effects here, like
I
across
mean,
his
Super
body. So it's
Sonic
like,
is already Super
oh,
Saiyan.
it's Super Saiyan 2!
Get ready to say, you said he had a virus. My immediate thought was, oh, don't tell me he's getting a heart virus. Is he
He's
going more
getting
like
the heart
Goku again?
virus. He definitely suffered from it in like Frontiers, and you know it was one of those things where like it was slowly overtaking him as you progress through the game. Like his idol will always be like normal at the beginning, but like as you get through each island, he kind of like starts to hold himself for a little bit. But he can otherwise move normally. But it was just one of those things where you notice like the change. But I'm curious as to what was it, the Final Horizon update is going to be about, and where it might take place, because it's still the same cast, but they're kind of posing like a new threat. So I'm curious about that one. I see something about Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty
Yeah, there's
getting.
more stuff on Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you see Marvel Snap? They got the crazy animation for that one. I was like, whoa, why
Nah,
can't
I
we?
didn't see that.
Yeah, no, it was to promote some of this. I think it was just, oh, is it just to promote the PC version launch? Because I think it was one of those things where like obviously it's from like mobile, so they have like a specific layout for mobile. But if you have this new PC version, they probably revamped the entire look, and they had this very tasteful like animation sequence. Um, I'm trying to remember the names because it was Deadpool. Deadpool was like featured in that one. He was his very cartoony self, and I think that worked really well. Um, the other one's Ghost Rider. Yeah, and that was just like a fun bit, but more characters showed up in like that little animation sequence, but it was just super clean. So I just had to give props to that one. Um, I know there's some extra stuff with Diablo 4. That's still a game that I should jump into at some point. And then we hear a little bit more stuff about Alan Wake 2, which was pretty much the confirmation that like as far as like the storytelling and the presentation, they're gonna try to mix in some live action in midst of like the gameplay and try to like weave it in a way that's very seamless. And that's really interesting because original Alan Wake does have that type of presentation where they'll have moments where you get to watch like a live action Alan Wake, but it was like it was weird because like you're seeing it from I think the perspective of the in-game engine, but you're looking at a CRT TV, and that's the live action projected. So I'm really curious as to like how well that kind of like blends in, similar to how like CGI stuff like blends into like now current stuff. But oh, that's right. Starfield did have like a probably like expensive live action trailer where it's
Oh,
pretty much
absolutely.
it was just about like a guy heading out to space, sees a young kid. The kid ages up, so some time has passed. He's seen a lot of stuff as well, and they meet up again. And it's just one of those things where like it's your own journey. You get to experience a whole bunch of other stuff, and you're gonna inspire a lot, or at least rather, I guess you would be the kid seeing this person leave off and like pass down some stuff to you. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the game as well. Um, I think
It's gonna
that's
be soon.
yeah, very soon. I don't even, like I'm in the middle of like Trails in the Sky SC, and I'm like I know I'm not making dents into that like well enough to like finish it by the time this game comes out. And now I'm
Speed
curious,
running through it.
and now I'm so but like but Mark, there's side quests.
You're speed running through all trails before it's time.
Oh my god. And now there's like Armored Core too.
Like stop,
Stop, please. And just for the fighting
mercy,
game enthusiasts, y'all seeing Tekken 8, and they literally just dropped a whole bunch of returning cast characters.
and the release date.
Jeez, dude. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened for Gamescom. Ooh. Oh, oh yeah, Zenless Zone Zero is another like game from I don't know why I'm like blanking on them. Hoyoverse, yeah. It's been in the works, and I think they're still kind of working on stuff here. But that was another cool like RPG where it kind of takes a lot of stuff from Honkai Impact as far as like the action sequence stuff, and they're just kind of like honing in on that. Looks
Right.
cool. Looks good as usual. They pretty much mastered the craft at this point. There was another game. I don't think it's from them, but it's one that people have been talking about because like it has a lot of these animations that's similar to Spider-Man. I'm not sure if you followed that one at all. I think it's called Project Mugen. It's spelled exactly how you would expect it, but it's the idea. It's like it's also an open world RPG. You follow like a cast of characters and you can swap between them. It has like some action sequences similar to like Genshin Impact, but you do a lot of how do they describe the mixture? Because they literally they mashed a bunch of like things you might see like GTA is like as far as the driving stuff like you'll see it in that game, but Spider-Man was definitely influenced there because there's some influence web swinging in there. I was like, whoa,
There's so much.
there's so much on that, but yeah, that's all I could say about that one. There's a bit of story trailer for Lords of the Fallen. I think that's another like
Yeah,
Souls like game as well. So that's cool as well. Let me see if there was anything else. Um, oh yeah, Squirrel Girl was also part of this Marvel Snap cinematic. That was funny.
but of course.
It's like, oh yeah, of course she's part of the universe. I think that was all the things I was like definitely looking into and was curious about. But yeah, no, that stuff's still going. I think even now, as we breathe, it's
Yeah,
still
pretty sure
there.
it still is going.
Yeah, no. And I'm over here and I'm just like, I'm curious about doing the whole now that I have Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I do have a copy of like Generations on the 3DS and they have that whole like data like file transfer and I was going to look into that. It turns out though there's some like 3DS exclusive content like digital download like only um that you can transfer over to the Switch version, and the problem is I need to actually hire those like specific like things. They're it's the Palicos. The Palicos have like cool crossovers inspired by like different works from like Nintendo. Obviously, they have like a Mario named Palico, a Link Palico, Zelda Palico, and they have Final Fantasy, and they have one just named Bahamut. And you're like, what?
Bruh.
Whoa! And I was like, I want all of them. I want all of them like transferred over, but I had to make some progress on the 3DS one because they actually cost money to actually like hire them. So it was uh it was an interesting experience because obviously, this is without the Rise treatment of like fluidity and like just maneuverability. I decided to walk in there because I was gonna walk like a tank. I figured that like the great sword would probably be the best bet. That would just make sense. Bro, I'm sluggish. I
Not
see
used to
this.
handling it, are you?
It's tough, dude. Like I first quest was just a gathering quest, but obviously I walk into an area where like there's a slightly bigger monster. I'm like, all right, let's do this, and I just get the great sword. I'm like, just ah, and I'm just like, bro, can you go any faster?
I'll just mark do this.
How do you? Is it like if you were to look at any like footage from Generations, do you look at that with Rise? Do you think the swing speed has changed at all?
I think it's probably just a bit more like I think it's just a thing of positioning and learning patterns. Really, that's what the great sword makes you do.
Yeah, because I can block, but man, dude,
It
it's
also takes your
just
sharpness.
yeah, that does take the sharpness. It was weird because like that gathering quest doesn't give you like your whetstone and everything like that. You actually like earn that as the reward because essentially you're just gathering stuff. But I was there and I was like, I wanted, let's fight, let's do this. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like how the great sword works in that one, and I'm trying to compare the other like weapons as well because a lot of them are
Yeah.
pretty much unchanged, maybe except for like uh whatever the insect glaive. That's probably the only like thing that stands out. But yeah, no, that was quite the experience. I think it's gonna be the same, almost nearly 1-to-1 as far as like weapon like battle experience with Generations Ultimate. So we'll be I'll be trying to like dig into that like piece by piece, but yeah, no. With what was it, World and Rise leaving such a strong impression, it's kind of hard to like go back. It's like,
Feel like
ooh,
I've been spoiled.
yeah, I've been spoiled big time to the point where it's like I could probably see myself playing all these different weapon classes, but it's just not the same.
The movement, bro, the movement.
Although to be fair, I think Charge Blade is done pretty well as just kind of like a stationary thing because you do a lot of blocking there too.
Yeah,
But but yeah, no, man, dude, it's so weird because like my first experience with Monster Hunter was I think 4 Ultimate, if not maybe like 3 Ultimate or whatever. But 4 Ultimate was like one that I tried it out. I now have a copy of that one like loosely. But I'll just jumping into that one with whatchamacallit it was with the Charge Blade, and the reason I chose Charge Blade was because it looked really really cool. Little did I
feel
know
like
it was
this
gonna.
looks dope.
Little did I know it was actually one of the more like difficult game like weapons to
Yeah,
just
I
like
told you I
learn.
was like, oh, are you sure that's one of the more difficult weapons to master?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man, you're right, it is. So I spent like a fair hour just kind of like watching like guides of like how do you like what's the exact purpose, because obviously the game will tell you too, but for me just like visual aid is like my thing.
You're a
So
visual learner.
yeah, God, my mind took that to a very inappropriate place.
I get it.
God, it kind of like rolls, it feeds back into like shorts I've been seeing where it's like, you're such a baby. You probably know what the next line is gonna be.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's like, bro, no. That's not the Riz. That's not the Riz move.
That's not the Riz. That's a whole nother beast.
That's a different thing. But yeah, no. So I picked up on Charge Blade and I learned a bit about Switch Axe. And I'm just slowly building up the repertoire. So I think Great Sword would be like a next like thing to just kind of pick up. And if anything, just because of the tanky movement with Monster Hunter, I might as well just kind of be there like that. Oh my god, there's a quick aside. There was a I've been seeing a couple of these videos show up where like these guys are like looking into like this one dude who figured out the system. He's um he's pretty much a boyfriend for hire. He's a house boyfriend.
Ah,
He
way of the house boyfriend.
way of the house boyfriend. He's pretty much hires. He pretty much buys everything like, or he literally just gets an allowance like from the girlfriend that hired him, and his job is simply just to like upkeep the house, listen to her all of her problems, provide feedback, comfort her, make her like food, and then like he's set for life for, or at least for long. He's employed. And apparently like the guy gets like a lot of proposals like from like the girlfriends, and he always has to refuse them so he can maintain his work. It's like, bro, you figured it out. But yeah, no. If that shows up on your feed somewhere, like on like a TikTok or YouTube Shorts, that's why. Dude's figured it out, and it reminds me of like some well, obviously like Way of the House Husband, or yeah, House Husband is obviously an influence there too. But yeah, no, that reminds me, there's an anime out there that I think I'm pretty sure it's done with its like season, but it's about like this overgrown cat. It's just a huge ass cat that just like pretty much like takes like the housemaid like position while this poor girl like goes about like her days complaining about like the struggles of work every day. And it's just a giant cat that comforts her and cooks and shops for her. Everyone's like, is that a cat? Is that an apron on a cat?
Look, is that a cat?
I've been curious about that one, so I'll see if I can find that. But yeah, no, I think that's everything. As far as things in the future, I will say, obviously, I'll have some stuff to talk about as far as Armor Core. Whenever that shows up, I'll be able to like get that started. I'm gonna try to like do half and half trails, like first half of stream, and then like Armor Core in the second half. I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. I've been pretty busy as it is, but I'm gonna try it because that game looks
Like,
so
I will
good. But
find a way.
I'll find a way. Apparently, it's tough as nails, which is good. So I'm definitely in for it. But then Starfield. I don't even know what to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do for October, or well, actually it is September, so October it does have its own like release games, but September is gonna be like quite the juggle as well. But I'll definitely report it and see like what I find there too. But I've been kind of busy just making shorts this past week, so that's why I've been kind of away from Gamescom news for the most part.
For it.
But it's been fun. Everything's been just fun, and I've just been taking things in strides here. But yeah, no, the fun thing is like I put on the Sea of Thieves shirt. It's like one of my favorite shirts, and it's like, man, dude, I know that there's stuff going on like right now. I think I haven't been kept track with the updates, but like there's definitely something new. And if anything, I got like another peak in interest in like Sea of Thieves again because of the Twitch drops. I've already reclaimed those ones, but that was a thing too. It's like, damn,
No, the Twitch drops.
not the Twitch drops getting me back into it. Man, dude, I'm
They always find a way.
I always keep thinking about it. Like I want to like jump back into that, but it's like, where do I where do I find that time, bro?
They always figure a way out.
you I'm at that point now where like I watch like some TikToker and well, I don't really like using that term people on TikTok, and it's just like a full grown adult dude, and he's just like, obviously he has like a hobby and whatnot, he has like the finances to support it, but all of his jokes and memes are like him like as a kid playing games all day, him as an adult falls asleep.
It's
And I'm like, bro, don't remind me of
related.
this.
Relatable.
I'm like, bro. I'm pretty sure I would have a little bit more time like gaming, but I usually like take some time to like make videos instead. There, there's
Yep.
there's definitely a marriage there, and there's like a bit of juggling. I think I can do it, but finding like the perfect like balance there has been the difficult thing. I think with my folks being away, taking care of the house has not really made that any easier. I have to after work I always have to go out and like literally water the garden all the time, and I'm dealing with bug bites at my legs. I'm now dealing with a little slight like prick in like my hand because I touched the dragon fruit thing. I was like,
You're like,
oh,
oh,
because if you guys don't know, dragon fruits are obviously like the really cool looking fruits, but they are like attached to cactus
prickly,
like things.
prickly.
So be careful about where you swing your arm. But yeah, no, it's been a chore, but it's been nice taking care of things. Although, like I think one of the smaller like potted plants unfortunately did not make it. I was like, no, I keep watering you every day. What am I doing?
What went wrong?
But yeah, it's been quite a week for me in just like all fronts. But yeah, no, I think that's all I really wanted to bring up. Actually, what time are we actually?
It's been about an hour.
It's been about an hour. Okay. Mark, was there anything you want to bring up actually that happened like this
Uh,
past week as far as like your life or like stuff that you've been like really interested in? Oh, we never even talked about Boruto, did we?
oh, the sequel.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it is a sequel, isn't it?
Well, the arc. It's the arc that everyone's been waiting for. I mean,
Yeah,
it started out pretty interesting.
yeah, it's pretty much the Shippuden. It's the whole time skip on that one.
Yep, and honestly, hopefully it'll do it some good.
Yeah, I actually did read up on that one. Um, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be upfront with a couple things. One, I don't really like Sarada's new design.
Not a fan?
I'm not a fan. It's just like, what are you doing with that? But you know what? Whatever. Because that dope with that dope like drip with Boruto is great.
True. Boruto's new design looks great.
Yeah, I like how it really is a clash of like Naruto's design, obviously just because of the inheritance, but also like Sasuke's design.
Yep.
So it works
Kawaki's got
very
a
well.
good design too.
Yeah, actually, that's really good too. Man, Kwagi, man, dude, what happened? What happened, bro? Bro literally takes like moments out of his life to go to that dimension, just see like a levitating Naruto and Hinata.
He's
Did
just like,
they
how you doing?
did they age? I'm pretty sure they age over
I
there.
don't. I wouldn't think so.
I mean, granted, it's only like 3 years, which like for the adult cast, they don't really change a lot. But obviously, as the kids, like they look like way different. But yeah, no. Poor Mitsuki. He just has like he's been angry for like the past 3 years, and he's been like following Kwaki instead.
He's furious.
Yeah. And Shikamaru's the eighth Hokage. I mean, that makes sense. But it's like, oh man, it doesn't really hit the same way as far as like time skips.
Yeah, but it definitely does seem different.
Yeah. I do wonder what's happening to Sasuke now because, I
Yeah,
don't think
they said he ditched the village too.
he ditched it. You know what? I got Sasuke's a real one.
It's because even though he did fall victim to it, he did say like something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. It's interesting to
He said
see. Yeah.
he said if Sarada feels this way, then my intuition tells me something's probably wrong.
hmm
And
That
they
takes a
said,
lot
and I think
too.
it's probably got something to do with being an Uchiha.
Probably, yeah. I got obviously Sasuke's like done some like terrible stuff like in the show in the series. Obviously it all led back to like the whole betrayal and just seeking out power for like revenge of like his clan, but he's definitely reformed back then, and like given the circumstances now, I think he's like, even though he's kind of marked branded as like a traitor as well, he's doing it because he believes in something other than like his own goals, and I think that's like the big distinction. I think that's what makes him like still very much so redeemable in this case too. So I I hope he has still much of a big influence in like the show. I know Naruto's gonna have to take a backseat like just by force at this point, but I hope Sasuke still has like a lot of influence like in the show as far as just helping out. So we'll see. He's definitely been the one to train Boruto, so I hope to see some really cool stuff like that Boruto learned from him.
And also, don't forget that we also got the Shibuya arc trailer.
Oh yeah, for Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, bro. For what I've heard, and I didn't really hear a lot, except for the fact that like, no, bro, turn back.
The arc's supposed to be pretty hype.
Yeah, everyone like references like the arrow point from Sukuna, and I'm like, bro, I've seen that. I'm looking forward to that as well. But it's gonna take a dark turn. I know that for sure.
Oh yeah,
We people were mentioning it in the chair like, bro, they gave like Miwa like 10 seconds of spotlight. That's better than Nobro right then right now. Miwa the
go on.
goat. Although I have no idea what happens to Miwa. I have no idea what happens to her. I just know that she's not there.
My
I'm like,
friend
oh.
gave me a brief synopsis. She's alive still, but it's like I think she might be something might have happened.
Listen, I just know about Nora's current state in the sense that like people are wondering, is she coming back?
She coming back sometime.
And I'm over here thinking like she might not come back.
Who knows?
I think she's still getting milk.
She's
No,
getting milk. She's stopped by for some cigarettes.
she's not in the best shape. I know that much. But yeah, no. I'm curious about like what was it, Maki, our Maki. Um what happens to her, because I know like her what she currently
boy,
I know what she currently looks like now, like in the
Oh,
manga.
you're not ready for that.
Yeah, but I'm not I don't know like what happened between like how she is now from like holding up her hair in a ponytail, glasses to
I
like
know.
to
I
be
know.
to be absolutely like Chadified.
Oh, you'll see.
I'll see. I'm gonna learn. But yeah, no, it's a lot to go on. I'm kind of looking forward to Yuta's return. I want to see how that gets adapted, and like how cold they're gonna make this dude at the very beginning. But
Ice
yeah,
cold.
ice cold, dude. I mean, he has to do it, but it's like I can't wait to see the delivery initially. And in midst of all that, I don't really know what's going on with like Yuji's like development as far as like his strength building, because a lot of people don't really have much to attribute to like his own growth.
Yeah, he
Everyone's
hasn't been much
like,
of a main focus.
it's like bro only knows Black Flash. That's why he's able to point it out. I'm like, bro, why you gotta do him dirty like that? He's the main character. I guess I'll see.
It's like, how dare.
I'm just gonna have to find out as well on that one. Let's see. As far as shows, actually, um, I should definitely give like props to it. Um, I say this knowing exactly like Mark's anticipated like phrasing or reactionary like word for it, but Atelier Ryza does have an anime, and it has been like been releasing episodically, and as as someone who was not like into Ryza because of that, I didn't want to have anything to do with that. And we like later find out like that's just the promotion. Like the game itself, though, has fan service here and there. It really is. That's not even like the focal point at all. And it's actually a very wholesome like development, especially in the first game. And the way that they adapted a lot of the works from like the main quests and side quests, I think they've done it really well to the point where you can probably enjoy like the this like anime adaptation without jumping into the game. Although I find like the game's like really cool in the alchemy mechanics, but just a recommendation if you guys were ever like curious about that or even played through like the first game, you should definitely try this out. Watch out for the fan service. It's pretty strong in this one too.
Ay.
It's one of those things where it's like just check your shoulder. It's like okay, we're good. But I'm trying to see. Was there any other shows I've been like really like watching?
Mushoku Tensei?
That's another one where like I've been seeing a lot of cool stuff with that one, but I haven't like
Have you actually
really.
never watched it before?
I where did I leave off? It's the question.
Because it's such a
Uh,
good show.
it is a really good show, and I should watch it, but I really should take advantage of it and make it into content. But where's the content? Well, that's a good question. I'm
There's
working
it.
on
What's taking?
it. As in, I was trying. Let's see. I'm looking through Crunchyroll, although I think I originally watched it like I think it was Crunchyroll. Um, oh yes, okay, so I think I left off at like maybe episode 14 or 15 of like the initial run. So at that point, Rudius is in the village. He's already made contact with like the guardian like animal, and people were accusing him of bad stuff and punished him for it. But
Oh yeah, so
he,
you're still back in season one.
yeah, and he helped the village out, so he's made amends with them. And I think that's currently where I'm at. And I think it's just a matter of I think he just got reunited with Ares and our other dude, and I think that's kind of where I'm at. So like I'm pretty much almost nearly finished with like that initial like run season, but as far as season 2, I've just seen clips, seen multitudes of clips, all the wrong things though. It's always about the elf woman,
Oh, the elf woman.
but I do understand her a little bit more. So it's like, oh, okay, I see what's
Wait,
going
wait,
on.
wait, which elf woman?
Oh, the older one,
The blonde one?
the lustful one, yes.
Ah, yes, her.
She's a character for sure. I
Well, she has to
and
do
I,
that because of her. She has to do that because of her curse.
yeah, I now understand she has a curse where she needs to actually have that stimulation, otherwise she's gonna age a lot.
So it's kind of like, hey, she's just doing what she has to do.
She's gotta do what she gotta do to just like to be breathing, you know. To
Yeah,
be
it's
to
like if
be
she doesn't do this, things are not going to go well.
It's the only way for her to be comfortable in her own skin. And then I think right now at this point, my God, I've seen this a little bit here too. But the fact is that they're up to the episode where like he meets up with a familiar friend that he doesn't recognize at all. So she's just taking advantage of that or opportunity of
His
that,
first love.
and the whole like confining those two beast women is the worst,
That shit was hilarious.
bro. The fact that he doesn't know who she is, and he's just showing him at that point. It's like, okay, so I have these guys locked up.
Well,
It's like, what?
you forget he confused her for a boy at first too.
That's true, but like this is
They were
kind of
kids.
different in the sense that like it is a different hair color. Um,
Different hair. This time this time even it's a different hair color. So that's another thing that adds to it. Like confused for a boy when they were kids, confused for a boy now, and a different hair color, so he doesn't even suspect it.
yeah, but
But of course, he still gets those feelings. He's like, why do I? He's like, why do I
what?
feel this way? He's like, I don't swing that way.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to how he's gonna like take that. Like,
Well, it's because
I want to hear them.
because he doesn't know that this is his first love, the woman that he first fell in love with.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I'm really curious as to, like what the like monologue is like at this point. Is he like, wait, am I into guys now? Wait a minute, am I
He
into?
has kind of been he has
Am
kind of been like that. He's like, wait, I don't swing that way.
I also
What's going on here?
am I into this femboy? And I just can't wait to just see like that shift, and where it's like, oh, I get it now. I feel bad for him right now
I,
because it's one of those things where like back in like another episode, that guy at the bar is just like, "What's the problem?" It's just like hard to get it up. Is that the only problem? And that is legitimately the problem.
and I mean it's an understandable like man that sucks.
Isn't
And
that the whole
he
reason why
can't
the other girl at the very beginning of season 2 like just dumped him? It was just like it's
Eris?
not Eris. It was the other girl in the time skip from this season.
Oh, her. Well, and something else happened as well.
Okay, gotcha. I don't
There's
know.
a combination of that. She took that as an insult, and there's another thing that happened that he kind of fucked up on.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, okay. He's still learning. Still learning. He's ripped, but he's still learning.
Oh yeah, he's jacked.
Happy for him. It's a complete like 1080 from like how he was and how you see
Oh,
him. Like
from his old self.
yeah, whenever he has those talks with the human god, he's still like his older self from prior to reincarnation. But how he's disciplined himself now is a lot better. So at least that's good. But yeah, I do need to catch up on that. Yeah, no,
You gotta get the content.
I gotta get the content, but it's a matter of like where do I put that exactly?
And I'm sure you've been seeing clips from Bleach.
A little bit, yeah, but it's
That
so like I feel like it's so out of content.
sheesh.
Like aside from some cool like scenes here and there, like I feel like there's a lot of context I just don't quite get. Like who's this character and like
Oh man, yeah. Like I know that, but you can see you at least get to see cool moments.
I guess so, yeah.
Enjoy the pretty animation.
Hmm. But yeah, I'm just trying to like figure it out because there's some weird thing going on as far as like reactionary stuff and like putting it like on different like fronts. TikTok doesn't seem to care, for example, and like that would make things a lot easier. But I'm not trying to catch strays from like corporates for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
And
what you
then
mean.
YouTube's like YouTube's got that like down pat. Like if you post Jujutsu Kaisen, you're not you're not gonna go walk away freely with that unless you have some backups for that. Because I'm following another content creator who's been like watching like Jujutsu Kaisen, like if anything, the second season, and all of a sudden her stuff just got taken down, and I was like, bro, that sucks. And so she had to post like a compilation of things. So it's like, okay, all right, well, that's another way around it. So I might have to take like a safer route, and it's just me coming to terms with that, and then like from there, where in the world should this be posted? And I think it should just like remain on like the standard YouTube channel, but it's like because of how YouTube is now, they definitely cater like niche down content. Like how Dang Production is, it's just like a multifaceted like channel of different genres. And I think it would be best, growth wise for like things to be like focused on certain genres here and a different channel works on that. So I've been wrestling with that because YouTube's been putting out like shorts where it helps connect people to like the channel itself. So I've been kind of working with that. I've also been thinking about that when making the Tanuki content as well. So
Right.
I think even though I would love to have everything just like all put into one channel, it might need to kind of like branch off just a little bit so that like people are interested in this content can just stay for this content on this channel. And if they're ever curious about podcasting, they could just be on DangIT Productions. And then anime stuff can be like in that corner. Gameplay could possibly in that corner. I'm still kind of like thinking about it, but it's like one of those things where like I don't know if I want to like full tilt on that direction, or it's like no, we could just put it all in one channel. There's definitely different case scenarios for it, but I've been kind of thinking about that in the back burner. But I could definitely elaborate more on that like in our meeting mañana. But as far as the podcast right now, I think we're good.
I think
Um,
so.
Mark, is there anything else that you'd like to bring up before we go ahead and call?
No, I think we're good.
Alrighty. In that case, we will go ahead and conclude from here. So, guys, appreciate everyone for tuning in for this episode. DangIT Podcast has been episode 470. My name is Justin,
Fuck.
and thanks for watching, everybody. Hashtag bye, everyone.